Conversations with Ed Marshall is underwritten by Delgado Community College, Port of Plaquemines, Private First Class Driving Academy, and a special thanks to United Way.
Award-winning broadcast journalist Ed Marshall asks the tough questions you want answered. Informative, soul-stirring, one-on-one interviews about matters that affect our lives in this region we call home. Here now with Conversations is Ed Marshall.
Welcome. Most sports enthusiasts I know can tell you about every player and the performance of football and basketball players, especially here in Louisiana. Well, international sport you don't usually hear about for young boys and girls. It's actually participating. They're participating in a great degree in our area. I call it one of the best kept secrets, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. It's the game of golf through an organization called First Tee. First Tee is an international youth development organization that exposes the game of golf and its inherent values to young people through after-school programs and school participation. A lot of young people are getting involved. First Tee is shaping the lives of young people from all walks of life by reinforcing values like integrity, respect, perseverance through the game of golf, and it's making a difference. First Tee is now an outreach program in all 50 states. And joining me now in Studio B to tell us more about the program, I have two great guys, Mr. Chip Patterson, the Executive Director, and Mr. Jim Fisher, the Program's Development Manager. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, Ed.
Okay. Chip, jump right in and tell us about First Tee. And it's been a big secret to a lot of people because we didn't know it had been around for so long. Talk to me.
I mean, it started in 1997, and it was really a result of, as you mentioned, people know basketball and football players, and then this kid named Tiger Woods came along, and all of a sudden, everybody was paying attention to golf. So back in 1997, the first President Bush and Colin Powell started the First Tee program as a way to bring golf to inner city kids in New York City. And ever since that time, it's really grown into more of a comprehensive youth development program where golf is now just the hook that we use to get kids engaged, and then we teach them, like you said, these core values like honesty and respect and perseverance and healthy habits like positive interpersonal relationships and, wellness and nutrition. So, it was really a result of Tiger's success and fame, late 90s, early 2000s. But since that time, I mean, now the First Tee serves over 10.5 million kids across the United States and internationally. So we've really grown. And it was a result of Tiger coming up and the fame that he created. But the First Tee's mission is to get ethnic minorities and females and older teens engaged with the game of golf because they're not typically exposed. So that's our goal as an organization.
Just to answer my question, I was going to ask you, and where do you get the young people from? Where do they come from? The entire metro area?
Yeah, so we work across the greater New Orleans region. We actually have 13 partner golf facilities that we provide our after-school programs. And we also have 65-plus elementary schools that are implementing First Tee as part of the kids' physical education curriculum. And then we have other partnerships locally like NORD. We work with the Recreation Department to do summer camp programming. We work with St. Michael's Special School to get their kids involved. Right. We work with Son of a Saint to get their students engaged with the First Tee. So we have a lot of partnerships where we're reaching our core, target demographics to get them an initial exposure to the First Tee, and then we try to get them to transition to come to the golf course to work with our trained First Tee coaches.
That's great. Let's talk with Jim for a minute. Jim, what is it like when the young people first come? They're nervous, and what is it like with you actually kind of walking them through the game?
I think what's interesting when you get kids that are coming into golf, you get a lot of our kids that aren't coming from what we would call traditional golf families. So there's a lot of wonder. There's a lot of, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure how to act. A lot of the times the parents will even come to you ahead of time. I work as a coach, and they'll even say like, okay, I don't know anything about golf, but my daughter's here or my son is here. So what do we do? What do I need to get? And it's just like, well, slow down, guys. We're going to show you how to do everything. We're going to provide everything. and kind of teach them the game slowly. So I think there's a lot of wonder with basketball, baseball, other sports. They kind of have an idea what to do because they've kind of seen it. Yeah. But with golf, there's a lot of wonder, and I think that discovery is exciting for kids.
And what's really cool is, like you all talked about, the ethnic mix and the gender mix, and they're out there wanting to learn the game of golf.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I find really unique about our program is that you get kids of all income levels and all races kind of mixing together. A lot of times, especially in our city, unfortunately, it's a lot of the haves and the have-nots. Yep. First Tee kind of gives kids a chance to learn alongside each other, and that's an educational experience for both sets of kids.
So where do you all actually practice?
So we practice at our 13 different golf courses across the country or across the city. So Lakewood, City Park, Audubon, Stonebridge. If there's a golf course here, there's a good chance that we've got our kids out there.
And I'm not going to tell you which one I live nearby, but I've got a few broken glasses from, so I'm going to assume that was probably something else.
That could have been one of us.
So when they actually get out there, it's got to be a thrill for them, and you all are looking for volunteers, I'm sure, all the time to try to help you with the number of kids. I mean, how many young people do you have this year?
Yeah, so this year, I mean, we've seen a boom in the demand for our programs over the last year and a half because of COVID. Right. I mean, we were one of the few activities that parents knew they could safely sign their kids up for. If you come out and see a First Tee class, we've got kids standing in hula hoops, and they're 7 feet away from the nearest kid because they've got a golf club in their hands, and we don't want them to kill each other, right? So it was an activity that we were already socially distanced. It was outdoors, so it was a safe activity for the kids. So we've really seen an uptick in demand. This year, we're going to have well over 1,000 kids go through our after-school and weekend programs. Yeah. We don't know what the school programs are going to look like yet because they're changing, safety protocols on a daily basis. Yeah. But we're hopeful to get the physical education classes back and going in the schools. But like I said, we're going to have well over 1,000 kids going through the program this year, and I don't see that demand, decreasing over the coming 12 months because we're getting just more and more phone calls from parents who are. And I don't know that it's just because of COVID, but I think they're looking for safer activities for their kids. I think soccer has seen their number of kids decline. Football has seen the number of kids decline. And I think parents are just looking for safer activities for their kids. And a program like ours, we're not stressing winning. Okay. It's more about the kids' personal development and not whether they're a fantastic golfer. We do have kids that become great golfers if they stick with it, but that's really not what we're stressing. And we're always looking for coaches who just want to serve as role models or mentors for the kids.
And I'm sure you all do volunteer checks on people, as working with young people.
All our coaches are Safe Sports certified. All of us have to go through a pretty rigorous background check before they can even see a kid.
Yeah, I want to make sure that the parents knew that going in, because that's because I know when my kids grew up, I always said, check that kind of thing. Well, it takes money to operate these kind of programs, and I understand you all are having a big to-do at City Park, and on September the 21st. Either guy, tell us about it.
Yeah, so this is our biggest annual fundraising event. We've been lucky to partner with Walmart for over 10 years as title sponsor of our annual First Tee Golf Classic. This is our 16th annual Golf Classic, and it's our largest fundraiser. We raise over $100,000 through this one golf tournament. And luckily, like I said, we've had Walmart involved as a title sponsor. This year we got Bernard Seafood involved as a presenting sponsor, and a lot of Walmart's vendors locally, like Coca-Cola, Crescent Crown, Zatarans, those type of organizations have really stepped up to help support the First Tee because, as you mentioned, as a nonprofit, 80% of our budget comes from fundraising activities. So Jim and I are constantly fundraising on a year-round basis to make sure we can make these programs free and affordable for the kids that we're getting involved with the First Tee.
Super. And I'm sure if there are others out there and they see the program, they will probably give you all a call. We put on the screen there how they can reach you all. Well, the time ticks by so fast. We're so glad y'all came in, and we will make sure we stay in touch. And I may have to come out and check you guys out, and maybe you can help me with, because I'm a hacker. I don't do well.
We can take care of you.
Okay.
We're at City Park 5 days a week, so come by and see us anytime.
Super. Appreciate you all coming in. Okay. When we come back, we're going to be talking about another program that's downriver from New Orleans. So stay with us. We'll tell you more when we come back.
You're watching WLAE, New Orleans Public Television. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back. Over the last couple of years, there's been lots of talk about one of the oldest river ports in Louisiana becoming one of the biggest economic engines in the metropolitan area. Joining me now is the Deputy Director of the Plaquemine Port and Harbor District, Mr. Paul Matthews, who has some major news about the expansion that's going on there. We haven't had him on in quite a while, so it's good to see you.
It's good
Welcome
to be back. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
Everybody's doing fine?
Everybody's doing fine. Everyone's healthy, thank God.
Yes.
So we're all blessed to be here.
Certainly are. Well, let's jump right into it. Tell us, what's the progress on Venture Global Development, which is your big baby to start that expansion?
Yes, that's been a big project of ours for the last roughly 6 years now, and have been really excited about the opportunities for them to develop. Their project is a project that's an $8.5 billion investment in Plaquemines Parish.
Let's say that again.
$8.5 billion with a B.
All right.
Investment for a LNG, liquid natural gas, export facility in Plaquemines.
And what does that mean to the company?
Well, it's an alternative source of fuel, natural gas, liquid natural gas. As you know, globally, everybody's looking at alternative fuel sources. So their focus is being able to export the LNG to areas in Europe and other areas around the globe, really for an opportunity to look at resiliency and sustainability for the rest of the world.
That's great. What will be the economic development of the project?
Well, the economic impact is pretty significant when you have such a multiple billions of dollars being invested, with hundreds of jobs being created, with average salaries around $70,000 a year. You're looking at really payroll earnings that are significant for the community, along with sales taxes, and then eventually, once the project is fully constructed and operated, a significant amount of ad valorem taxes over time, which would be a boon for the parish, and to really help it economically, as they've been in some financial issues over time.
Sure.
But the focus of this project, long term, they've actually signed a lease with the port.
So the lease is signed.
The lease is signed. It's a 30-year lease.
That's fantastic.
Which is pretty significant in the maritime industry to have a lease of that amount of years, so that they can operate and export the LNG facility. So we're very excited. And that revenue will go to help develop other projects and infrastructure within the port.
So what the timeline is in terms of, getting it going? What are we looking at?
Well, they're looking at starting field work this summer, doing a lot of the utilities and everything like that this summer. So we should see some activity moving over the summer and fall of this year. And long term, their operations will come to a final mark soon.
And how are the other businesses operating in the parish, and how will that gel with what you all are doing?
Well, we've always been an oil and gas parish, and i.e. oil and gas port, where you have companies like Chevron Oronite, P66, Phillips 66, and CHS, which is a grain silo. So a lot of it's been bulk products. We move a lot of petroleum coke, a lot of soybeans, a lot of wheat, a lot of bulk products through the parish, and everyone has been operating through this difficult time in this pandemic, trying to make sure they're at the optimal levels and moving as much cargo as they can. And we are able to monitor that based on our tariff dollars that come in. And it looks like that we're actually going to meet the mark for this year, maybe 10% over on our tariff revenues, which just really shows that cargo is moving through our port.
So is the port looking at ways to partner with, other to make sure this runs?
Absolutely. Part of the port is not just attracting new businesses to the jurisdiction, but also making sure that the operations within the jurisdiction are operating at an optimal level. So, for example, we're now applying for a federal grant in partnership with CHS to receive $22 million from the federal government for the development of a state-of-the-art dock for the increase of export agriculture to the rest of the world. As you may know, 60% of the grain that's exported out of this country comes down the lower Mississippi River, and much of it to Plaquemines Parish.
That's right.
So in our hopes, if we can make this investment by using this money from the federal government to build a $30+ million dock for larger bulk vessels to come into our port, we're able to optimize the operations of CHS. So it's really exciting to partner with our current operators.
Yeah, and speaking of making it larger, dredging the river, of course, has been a key issue of late.
Right.
What's the latest there?
Well, as you know, the state and the federal government partner to make sure that the channel of the Mississippi River is deepened at 50+ feet, which is very significant because now you really can get the larger post-Panamax ships to come up and down the Mississippi River, whether they're container ships or bulk ships to come in. The more larger ships that we can get into the Gulf, that means more cargo, which means more jobs, which obviously means more economic development. So we're really excited about that. And on top of that, we've also received energy transfer funds from the federal government through the Army Corps of Engineers to dredge berths and tributaries down the lower Mississippi River.
Wow.
And so in partnership with Plaquemines Parish government, we're able to dredge the harbors to allow the medium and smaller ships to be able to pass through, which really maximizes the type of navigation that is needed in the lower Mississippi River.
That's fantastic, because there's been a lot of talk of container terminal development further down the river. I'm sure there's been some progress.
Yes, so we're really excited. Actually, last May, there was an announcement by APM Terminals, which is the second largest terminal operator in the world, made an announcement that they're very much interested in being the terminal operator down in Plaquemines. As you may also know, our private developer, LA23 DevCo, has secured the land where the terminal will be operated. So we're getting many pieces of the puzzle together for our project, which will be significant for the parish, but also significant for the region.
And the business community. I mean, they're super excited because when you start getting all these workers in, you know, folks are not going to want to drive 3 hours to work every day. That's going to mean a lot of realtors are going to get happy and some other things. I mean, I'm sure there'll be more businesses popping up and those kind of things.
Absolutely. And it'll be significant for Plaquemines Parish, Jefferson Parish on the West Bank, and also Algiers, Orleans Parish side. And it's not just individuals with job creation for them, but also for businesses to be able to work with the terminal operations. And so as a port, we've actually revamped our procurement process. We brought in a company, independent company, to come in, you know, look at our current procurement operations and what we do, and completely revamped it. The board approved our new policies, and our focus has been making sure that DBEs and WBEs have an opportunity to work with ports.
Okay.
And it's very significant because a lot of small businesses don't know how to get in the maritime industry and work with the port. So we're very excited about that.
You're going to be doing, probably doing with stuff with we're about to got to get into the next segment, workforce development. That means that you'll probably be hiring some folks from Delgado, which is leads me into my next segment. How about that? Paul, come back and see us again, and we can't wait until this starts happening, and we will be down there, and we'll be right there with you guys, ready to shovel.
Great. Thanks so much.
You come back. And when we come back, we'll be talking to the Chancellor of Delgado Community College, which is 100 years old this year. And we'll be talking to the Chancellor about what's going on there and some super exciting things. So you don't want to go anywhere.
Weeknights at midnight on LAE.
Hello and welcome back. You know, you may wonder sometimes that we like to do stories on Delgado Community College, and that's because Delgado is such a part of the fabric of this community. It has been for years. And with its new chancellor, well, not really new anymore, it's still progressing, and this year is 100 years of Delgado being actually operating and helping people get jobs. So joining me now via Zoom is the Chancellor of Delgado Community College, and that's Chancellor Ms. Larissa Stibe. Hello and welcome.
Hello. Good morning, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you for being on our show. Well, let's get right to it. To say this year has been a challenge is an understatement. So tell us how the college has navigated, particularly COVID, especially since you have nursing programs and things like that.
So you are absolutely correct. To say this year has been a challenge would be an understatement. But I will tell you this, out of a challenge comes innovation. And so I was able to see just innovation just spur throughout the institution in ways that even today I look back and I say, my God, how were we able to do it? But what I will tell you is that I am blessed with a wonderful group of faculty and staff who, when we first went into our COVID reality, we were able to flip 10,000 students to a virtual reality. We were able to, stand up virtual offices and virtual college tours so that individuals who wanted access to the institution, we provided access to them. We were nonstop and open for business in ways that were just, that put everyone in awe. We began planning for COVID, I'll tell you, right after Mardi Gras. I came into the office and I pulled a team of people together and I said, guess what? Corona is coming our way. We need to be prepared. So we immediately began to see what would we need to clean and disinfect. And we soon found that there were no supplies.
Wow.
Nationally. Wow. And so then we began to strategize about what would it look like if we flipped to virtual? What would it look like if we moved students to online? What does remote look like? What does remote work look like? Our main goal was that business continuity and educational excellence was to remain. Right. And so, as I look back on March 2020, when we flipped 10,000 students to virtual, I can truly and honestly say that we held true to business staying open, remaining open. We held true to educational excellence. And I'm just so fortunate to be a part of just a great team of individuals.
I tell you what, you all did a fantastic job. Speaking of, how is enrollment this fall for 2021?
Fall enrollment for us is looking great. We have pivoted to more face-to-face instruction on our campuses and our sites. We still have online classes that are being offered and some hybrid courses that are being offered as well. So from the standpoint of the institution, we've pivoted very well. We're still, the numbers for us is comparable to where we were 2020. However, we want numbers that would be 2019 registration enrollment numbers. Sure. We have other sessions that are available. We have Term B. We have 2 4-week sessions. So there are opportunities for those of you that are listening, there are opportunities to still register at Delgado Community College for the fall.
That's fantastic. And we definitely want to talk about your new nursing building that's being constructed. Tell us more about that real quickly.
All right. So our Ochsner Delgado Center for Nursing and Allied Health is scheduled to be opened spring 2023 with the completion of the construction fall 2022. This facility will house the renowned Charity School of Nursing as well as our Allied Health Division. This is extremely exciting. Many individuals know Charity School of Nursing and just the reputation of the Charity School of Nursing. We were located downtown for a number of years in a facility that we were provided a lease. That lease ends soon. So moving the Charity School of Nursing and our Allied Health Division under one rooftop on the City Park campus is absolutely phenomenal. The work that we did pre-COVID in terms of just students, registered nurses, PN, allied health professionals, respiratory techs, we've been a leader in that space. For COVID, more than 1,500 students went out in the world of work when our hospitals needed us most and healthcare facilities needed us most. 98% of our students stay in the New Orleans metropolitan area. They live, they work in this area. So, you know, the ability to be able to put that number of individuals out in the world of work, the ability to have such high passage rates, you know, and licensure rates in the state of those programs just also speaks to the phenomenal group of instructors that we have leading our nursing and allied health programs.
And that's what I wanted the public to know. So we got about another minute. So tell us really quickly about some of the programs at the college, and then we'll have to wrap up, unfortunately.
Okay, so you have somebody who can talk a lot, especially when it comes to Delgado Community College. We have a number of programs. We have programs in IT, information technology, cloud computing, cyber security, of course, registered nursing and allied health programs. We have programs in business, accounting, you know, and what's very important for individuals to know, you know, we talk about enrollment a lot, but what I really want you to walk away with is this. Last year, more than 3,000 students transferred from Delgado Community College seamlessly to our four-year institutions. Wow. So what that allows individuals to do is to start at Delgado, receive their associate's degree, and then transition to our four-year partners to receive that bachelor's degree.
That means that you all are doing some great work. Well, we thank you for being with us, and I cannot close without letting our public know that you have been selected by Biz New Orleans as one of the top CEOs in the New Orleans metropolitan area. Well deserved. So,
thank you so much. I'm honored, and I'm extremely flattered by that recognition.
Okay. Well, we'll come back and see us again. We appreciate you so much.
I would love to. Okay. I would love to. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's going to do it for the show. We are out of time. And until next show, we always tell you to please stay in peace, not in pieces. Until then, I'm Ed Marshall, and we'll see you.
Conversations with Ed Marshall is underwritten by Delgado Community College, Port of Plaquemines, Private First Class Driving Academy, and a special thanks to United Way.